Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. North of 100 yards, the two scores. And, you know, you got to give a lot of credit to the O-line. We talked a lot about him, but offensive line was good too.
They're obviously in sync with each other, whether it's zone blocking, power running game, no matter what. He understands how to read them and find the creases that they provide.
And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains. We should mention, to go along with a great game he had last week, he was rightfully named AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
And he shares that with his offensive line, the tight end, his fullback. He's looking for more and more of that in this game.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. That's going to go as a loss of 6, and it'll set him back for 2nd down. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. They tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. That's good for 21 yards and a 1st down.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open.
Zeros. And time is up on the 1st quarter. And they've got it here with a 1st down.
Here we go.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he goes backwards here, losing yardage back to the 16. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Sometimes play calls boil down to philosophy. You know you're facing one of the top 10 units against the run in the NFL. So do you decide to keep smashing against them, or do you decide to throw the ball here?
And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. A great play there. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. He went backwards. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency. Move the ball at least a few times. The field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
Let's go, D. Let's go, D.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up a third down.
He did have the touchdown run earlier, but not a heck of a lot more than that throughout this game.
No, not at all. In fact, I would say that this defense has done as good of a job on him as they have on any runner in recent memory. A big hitter there, a first down gain of 26 yards. That right there, a good sign for a team that's had trouble converting third down so far this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the NFL, but they come through there.
Yeah, and I bet if we put our guy Marvin on the case and say, Marvin, tell us where they rank on third and what, right? I bet they're in the top 5 in the league on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or more, because that's how you end up not converting. Just too much yardage to pick up on third down.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Call it a gain of 4 there, so it sets up a big play here. 3rd and a yard. Now the Jags are moving quickly in the hurry-up.
He was hoping to get to the edge, but they did a really nice job of forcing him back inside. That's excellent fundamental defensive football. Don't let them outside where they can really shred your defense.
The Jaguars on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, and now he bowls him over. He's got a first down and more inside the 30. The Jags picking up the first down there, a gain of 12.
We all love to have a home run hitter in the backfield. Guy can take it the distance. But in short yardage, trying to pick up first downs, that big guy, always a nice luxury to have, isn't he?
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. Now they'll run it on the toss. Room here to run. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7.
Let's go, let's go.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, jumping over. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. Now before this 2nd down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter. They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Now they'll run it on the toss. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
The Jaguars on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. Now they'll run it on the toss. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. And now they'll run it on the toss. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on 2nd down.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Jacksonville 1st down on a pickup of 17.
I know anytime you watch a team run the ball really well, there's some pinball effect, people bouncing off of each other. There's also some things of beauty in there when you see these nice, explosive, strong runs. And this guy, he knows how to carry the football really well and continually wants the football. Why? He knows his offensive line's going to give him great effort, and he gives great effort himself to finish off runs.
Malcolm Jenkins up to make the stop.
Well, he was stopped on that play, but he's had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then the defense is going to win one, but I don't think they'll shy away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And one more leap. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the carry there, and it leaves him with 3rd and about 6. Yards to go. Now they'll run it on the toss. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4. On the toss. And across the midfield stripe into Eagle territory. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
I know the toss play begins with the guy taking the snap and turn around and tossing it to the runner. But where the real intrigue is, can they seal the edge? Whether it's an offensive tackle or a tight end in the direction they want to run the football. If they do that, that's the result that you get, that type of a gain. If they don't, oftentimes it's not a very successful play. Not too many more ideal situations in 2nd and 2 in order to try and pick up a first down. They ran it and picked it up.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. The Jags picking up the first down there, a gain of 12.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
Now they'll run it on the toss. He's going to be out of bounds on what's going to wind up being the final play of quarter number 3. All even as we get ready to start the 4th. Now they'll run it on the toss. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 4 yards on the play. And that's going to make it 2nd and 14. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. He lost 4 there, and it's 3rd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
Green 80. Mike, 53. 53. Mike.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, and he's not going to make it out of the end zone. The push too strong, and that'll be a safety. Well, I think...
Green 80. Green 80.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And not a whole... doing there is he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Now they'll run it on the toss. Now this will go for 5 up to the 33.
That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense.
He was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
And prior to this 3rd and 2 play, we're going to get a timeout called. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this 4th quarter. This is 3rd and 2, maybe the biggest play in this football game. And they'll go on the ground. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Time for a break. So it's Jaguar football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Now Bortles got to have this one. He's going to have his running back. It's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. They keep the game alive, at least for the moment, as it's a 1st down. Bortles now on the option left side. And maybe the wrong read there as he's going to go down immediately. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
At this stage, you've got to hustle. Got to get back to the line of scrimmage because you're saving that timeout to make sure you have a chance to get your kicker out there for the big shot.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Short gain last 2 plays. Who do you think's excited about that?
Absolutely, this defense, they're saying go right ahead with those. Two running plays go backwards, so what's the call on 3rd and 13 now? Back to throw. He's got his man on the crossing route. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 1st down, Jacksonville. The passing game looking sharp on this drive for the Jags. Line of scrimmage. Back to throw. That one complete to D.D. Westbrook. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion. It's very sharp here to start this drive, 3 for 3.
Yeah, I like the way he's running this 2-minute drill. Very sharp, very precise in throwing the football.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Down to the final play. That's where we win in this one, a dramatic finish. And I know that the field goal was going to be pretty long, but to not kick the field goal, at least take the chance to win there with 3, what did you think, partner?
You know that in pregame, as he warms up, the kicker gets with the special teams coach, and they figure out a number in both directions, all right, versus wind, no wind, if it's a possibility, whatever it is. And they give a number to the head coach. This is where I'm good from. Between here and here, maybe that wasn't the number he gave him today.
So for Philadelphia, they close out this 1st half at a very solid 6-2. And
with the owner. I can walk on water, pop it like, hey, when you on top, go hate on you, that what they supposed to do, I don't know how to lose. I think the Rari go faster without the roof. Hey, when you on top, go hate on you, that what they supposed to do, I don't know how to lose. I think the Rari go faster without the roof.
Today's a work day, gentlemen, and you know what that means? We got to get better today. What I want to know is, who's ready to work? I'm ready to work. Are you ready to work? If you are, then go out and prove it to me. Show me what you got.
Green 80. Green exact. Green 80. Green 80. Green 80.
15, when I saw my first 100 bids, got my first 100 bids and made it through the running, man. They know how we coming, man. Gotta get this money, man. I came up from nothing, had to turn it into something, man. 15, when I saw my first 100 bids, got my first 100 bids and made it through the running, man. They know how we coming, man. Go and get this money, man. I came up from nothing, had to turn it into something, man. Be winning, keep grinding, it's just the beginning. Rap about they ain't living. Ain't no top boy, you gotta be kidding. Like Nike, I go get a check. Baby girl, watch your flex. Got your tree, she go for the PNV on my up next. Can't wait till I caught me a Mozzie. On Cali, I feel like a different man. We got the pack, we delivering. I remember cold nights, I was shivering. Gotta go get the bag and no stopping me.
Hey boys, coming out of yesterday's practice, we all know it wasn't good enough. Today's practice.
Set. Green 80. Green is set. Green 80. Green 80. Green 80. Set. Green 80. Here we go. Green 80. Green 80. Here we go. Green is set. Set. Green 80. Green 80. Green 80. Green 80. Let's go. Set. Green 80. Green 80. Set. Green 80. Set. Green 80. Green 80. Let's go. Set. Green 80. Green 80. Green 80. Green 80. Here we go. Green 80.
All right, man, bring it in tight. Bring it in tight. All right, let me tell you something.
But that's what made me.
about everything, man. Definitely when you by yourself and you're just cruising on the highway, man. I'm still attentive. A young with money will make.
This, I'm the coach.
Here we go.
Now they try the right side here. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. So a look here at the key. Now a handoff looking right. Fights loose. And they'll get him down here at about the 42. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
Gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, it's nothing but room to run.
Able to power through, and he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40. It's a gain of 5, and now the question, will the offense... And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in, but I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference.
Hey, boys, we got 4 down. Hey, check my 50.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs.
Well, they came into this game saying it was important that they set the tone and show that they can run the football. And I believe that they've done that here in the first quarter.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
4 down.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, good move. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. A 14-yard first down pickup for the Jaguars. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far, it's working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
And now running right through him. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A big chunk on the ground there, 27 yards.
I don't care what the game plan was coming in. After these runs,
you're running it, right?
you make sure you keep circling on your play sheet, running plays that are working, and keep patting those big offensive linemen on the back. They're doing a great job.
Goes without saying, the defense is going to have to adjust to this.
In a big way, and they've got to figure out, do they have to sell out to stop the run, or can they just do it better than what they've done so far?
And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Let's go.
Yeah, and that was a safety that came through and made the play, but there's no doubt in my mind, he hits like a linebacker, and we see a lot of that in today's NFL, don't we?
And that time, we do indeed a big hit for a loss. Alongside the former defensive back Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Jaguar football as we begin quarter number 2. And they've got it here with a first down. Well, they've been practicing goal line offense all week. Let's see if they're able to capitalize here. They'll try and run for it on first and goal. And he is not going to get through here on try number 1. They stop him at the goal line. No gain on the play, and it's going to be second and goal.
We got three down. Hey, fellas, we got
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
He's going to get it running right. And just a short gain that time as they're able to get him down. They'll get nothing out of that one, and it's going to lead to a third down.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. A great effort there. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he got blown up on that play. Back at the 20. So a loss of 5, and it'll be second down.
Well, with the kind of half he's had, I think we can forgive him that run, right? Not every run's going to be a big play, is it?
No, and also the blocking just wasn't there. No room to run.
Yeah, defensively, they got to find a way to build on that because he's eating them alive in the first half.
We got four down.
2 minutes to play here in the first half. We'll come back to Indianapolis right after this. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Now, Doug Marrone with a play clock almost out says, let's take a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Now they'll run it on the toss. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. The Colts going to use the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside.
Here we go.
And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, and now he bowls him over. Give him 8 yards on the carry, and that's going to bring up 4th down. The Jags offense now gets set and heads to the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
Now they'll run it on the toss. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Jamal Sheard on the stop. Well, earlier this half, you were wondering how they were going to defend him. I think you used the term bottle him up at different levels. They've struggled to do that.
They certainly have, because when you see them approach, in order to bottle them up at different levels, that front line's got to take care of business. Otherwise, he starts to sift through.
And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
And that's why you spend a first-round draft pick on a running back. Not for just the fancy runs, but these dirty, gritty 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. That's why you draft him.
And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 10 yards there, good enough for a Jags first down.
Mike 50, Mike 50.
And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1.
Here we go.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
Hey, 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 hey. 4 down, 4 down.
Now they'll run it on the toss. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3. Here comes the Jags offense now. Time for their first possession of half number 2. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Right back to him on 1st down. Clayton Geathers makes the stop. They tried to run it to the short side of the field. There just wasn't a whole lot of room to work with.
Yeah, it seems like things just kept getting strung out towards the sideline, and it kept looking for a spot to dive up into the gap. There just wasn't one, so that turned into nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
And no gain. And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. Call it a gain of 4, and it'll leave him with a 3rd down and 6 to go.
Another good run for him. What else is new? That'll put him right at 150 yards for the game, so he's really made his presence felt in this one.
Tight end right, tight end right.
Now they'll run it on the toss. So he fought off the